Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so we are binge recording a ton of reviews today because I am so behind. Like, it's ridiculous. So, the first book that I finished in 2017, yes, that's how far behind I am, people. So, we have The Beast by J.R. Ward. This is, I don't even remember what number book, like 13, 16 in the series. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's number 14 in the series if you don't count the Insider's Guide that was done, which had a really nice novella in it that I really liked. Anyway, okay, so the series is hella fucking long. The problem that I had with this book came from this book, Blood Kiss, which is a spin-off series in the same world. She uses a lot, like, this series revolves around the Brotherhood. This series, they're new recruits, and you still get Brotherhood stories in here, like their points of view. They're multiple POV stories every time, which I love. I really love the way she does it. Sorry guys, I just woke up and I haven't finished my coffee. Like, I barely had any, so my brain's not totally on. And by the way, my daughter just asked me, like 2 minutes ago before I started recording, "Mommy, how does the fox represent be? Because it's supposed to be go be yourself." And I didn't have the heart to crush your little spirit, which you all know what this means. So, okay. Oh, that's heavy when it's full of coffee. Okay. So, what happened was, I finished this in the end of 2016, and then I read this. Maybe not the end of 2016. I read this, got a sour taste in my mouth, and then I read this, hoping to get that taste out of my mouth a few months later, and it didn't happen. So, this is actually going to be a review of this one too. I've changed my mind. Okay, so, my problem with Blood Kiss was, it is the same exact formula that she uses for the Brotherhood series, and I was hoping for something else. I was hoping that Ward would break out of her formula, maybe find it. I know when you're doing series, formulas are the easiest thing to work with. Let's change the formula. So what and then, oh, the thing that really pisses me off is that she has stories, points of view in here from the actual brothers, which pisses me off because now, in order to get the entire story of the brothers, you need to read this spin-off series. And honestly, the only reason I finished this book was to get to the points of view of the Brotherhood. This is the only reason. Like, this one was Butch and Marissa. It was literally the only reason. Like, I could have literally skipped entire chapters and just been like, oh, no, you're not the, nope, you're not them, nope, oh, here's one, read this chapter, and I could have honestly done that. And so I hate that she did that. Like, to me, I just see it as, oh, maybe sales aren't so good for this anymore, and I need to do something new. I need another series to start. She's got like 4 right now, like continuing series. And it's just like, oh, maybe sales are down for this, so let me do this, but I need to include the brothers to bring sales for this back up, and I just I didn't like it. Like, the non-Brotherhood part of this, I just didn't like. I just honestly did not like, and so, so I'm not continuing on with this series. I've resolved myself to the fact that I will not know every single little detail. Worst case scenario, I can get it from the library and literally just read the Brotherhood chapters, if I get that desperate. So, I had a bad taste in my mouth, and I was hoping that my one true series Like, this is my auto buy series. It has been for years. Like, at least 10 years. Like, when did I started reading, let's see. I want to say book 4 or 5 was just coming out when I picked up this series from a friend. So this is like a series, that was when I was starting to be a reader again as an adult. So like I said, 10 years I have been dedicated to this series. So let me give you a synopsis on this. Paradise, little aristocrat kid, wants to be a soldier. The end. So it's typical adult romance. You guys know what's going to happen. There's a boy. She gets in because then there's no story if she doesn't. Blah. Okay, so the Beast. If you know the series, you know the Beast is Rage, and his wife is Mary. So this, what I call like the second part of this series, is the first part is, oh, you have all the brothers meeting and getting married or whatever to their significant others. Part 2 of this series is what happens after. And so I really like that. You know, you've still got the heat between Rage and Mary, but it also shows that marriage is not all rainbows and unicorns, because that's reality. So I liked that. It wasn't like super like, oh, this is what happens in reality, because they still live in a mansion and don't have to worry about money. Wouldn't that be great if that was everyone? Anyway, so I really like that it shows the evolution of a relationship and trying to have communication, and how miscommunication in a long-term relationship can still happen. Ooh, the sun came out. Glare. Sorry, guys. So I like that. I really liked the storyline. Yes, can you tell what's going to happen? Of course. It's not, you know, when you read enough, you pick up on these things. You know, it's not going to be like a super surprise. But that's okay. That's okay. I am not reading this to educate myself on anything. I am reading this for pure enjoyment. That being said, my critical brain was on when I was reading this, and there were things that just really irked me. There were editing inconsistencies. Like, there's one character in here who's injured. So on one page, it was his left side that was injured. And on the next page, it was his right side that was injured. So that just gets me. Because I feel like when you are this big of an author, and you have published over 20 books among your series, those type of errors should not happen. This is published by Penguin. It's a major publishing company. You guys can afford better editors. Just saying. So, it's just a pet peeve. What else? Okay. Label dropping. Like, holy cow, guys. Like, it's, like, if there's a high-end label, I think she's getting kickback from these labels sometimes. Like, iPhones and BMWs and clothing labels like Gucci, and it's just, I'm kind of over it, you know? Like, to me, that doesn't really add anything to the story. And like I said, I feel like maybe she's getting kickbacks because it just happens that much. I don't know what my hair's trying to do today, guys. It's fine. What else? Oh. There's text lingo. Like, early 2000 text lingos when you had to work for that letter C. And you had to hit that number 2 button 3 times. And then, if the next letter was an A, you had to wait like 5 seconds. Otherwise, it would just go back to the beginning and you would lose your C. Like, it's that kind of text lingo. And, you know, and you guys, if you're as old as I am, hashtag 32. Not that I care, guys. I actually forget how old I am a lot of times. Anyways, so if you remember back in the day when you had to work for your text messages and possibly pay 25 cents a text message, it's that kind of lingo, and that pisses me off because these guys are rocking iPhones, you know, they're touchscreens, you know, they have full QWERTY keyboards, and there's absolutely no need for that. You know, if you're gonna drop iPhone, you say, Siri, text so-and-so, and this is what you tell them. You know, if you're gonna drop labels, fucking use them, you know? Ooh. I was doing so good with not cursing. I tried, guys. So, anyways. Oh, and then my last pet peeve that I have listed in my little book. This is how I can do reviews, guys, because I have my little book of the books they read, and I write little notes. Because my brain is crap. Anyway, she uses abbreviations. And, like, what you would typically use. Like, I guess it would be text lingo, but like WTF, I don't consider that text lingo. That's more like internet chat lingo, I guess. But, so WTF, we all know means what the fuck. WTH, what the hell. GTYL, talk to you later. You know, like, the mainstream ones I can understand. I feel like it dates it, and that kind of annoys me. But there are some abbreviations I actually have to Google because I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't write down an example, and I'm not going to find it just flipping through this like this because it's not going to like just jump out at me. But I had to Google something, and it was something so obsolete and obscure. Not obsolete, it was something so obscure. I was like, why are you even trying with this? Like, I just didn't get it. I just didn't get it. So, because of the sour taste in my mouth, I actually, what did I rate this? This is the lowest rated Brotherhood book I've done, and it's a 3 out of 5 stars, which means I liked it, and I more than likely will not reread it. I have rated every single, except for Fury's book. That one was kind of slow. But for the majority, outside of these two books, they've all been 5 out of 5 stars because I just love them and I want to reread them. You know, I haven't gotten around to it because usually they're all being borrowed, which is a problem because I've lost a lot and I have to replace them, but that's besides the point. So I don't know if I'll reread this. I might, but right now my rating is 3 out of 5. You guys know, I probably should have said this in the beginning. 1 star, I hated the book and I probably DNF'd it. 3 stars, I liked it, it was good, but I'm not going to reread it. 5, I loved it, I'm going to reread it. I don't deal with 2 and 4 stars. I ain't got time for that. Because I read for enjoyment, I rate for enjoyment, I don't rate for critiquing, you know. So, I have some things I do want to mention that I've been trying to keep track of with my books to try and have a more, I guess, thorough review with like trigger warnings and if there's any diversity. So let's see. Okay, so we've talked about character development, storyline. It was good. I liked it. World building is it's in the real world. This is magical realism, I think it's what it's called. So there's magic in the real world kind of thing. Yeah, so trigger warnings. And I don't know what, there's going to be trigger warnings that may seem odd to some of you, but there are things like I know that I can't read about. Like I just cannot do certain things, and it's not the standard like suicide or something like that. Like children deaths, no. Ever since I became a mom, nope, can't do it. Nope, can't even watch it. It's really bad. So maybe when she's an adult and she's survived, maybe then. But right now, no. Anyway, so And, yeah, so these trigger warnings, they're not just like your major ones, or things that I think people might not want to read about if they've experienced it themselves. So, trigger warnings. Infertility, parental death, and domestic abuse. There you go. Diversity. We do have, there's a blind character. I am not blind. I don't know anyone who is blind, so I don't know how accurately that is represented, but he does have a cute little fluffy golden retriever named George. So, there's adoption in here, which isn't usually talked about in books, especially fantasy books, so that's cool. There is skin color diversity, but it's more race defining, so there's not like interracial relationships, but there are different races with different skin colors. I say skin colors, it's just dark skin for the shadows. So maybe there'll be interracial relationships in the future, but right now there's not. But there is a little bit. There was one book she did dedicated completely to the shadows that was chock full of it, but typically the shadows are like just side characters, so there wasn't like any main character in this book. Yeah, so there's that. Okay guys, I'm done. This is a really long video, and if you've made it this far, congratulations. You get a subscriber brownie point, and I appreciate you for watching my ramblings for this long. So I will see you guys in the next video. Hang around for the little random cute internet video that I found for you to watch, because why not? And I will see you guys later. Bye.